water. Nearly 1.3 million homes were damaged, hundreds of thousands of people were marooned, and hundreds have died. With future climate change, flooding in Bangladesh is predicted to become more extreme due to cyclonic storm surges and rising sea levels. Sheikh Hasina, Prime Minister of Bangladesh, called sea level rise a planetary emergency, and one of which Bangladesh will bear the brunt.
So some of them are bad, and some of them are inspiring.
Costa Rica is the first tropical country to have stopped and subsequently reversed deforestation. Can the rest of the world follow its lead? In the 1940s, 75% of Costa Rica was cloaked in lush rainforests. Then the loggers arrived, chainsaws in hand, and cleared the land to grow crops and raise livestock. In the 1970s and 1980s, Costa Rica had one of the highest deforestation rates in Latin America. But the country has managed to turn that around in a relatively short period of time. Today, almost 60% of the land is once again forest.
Wow. That's cool. So action or inaction, pay attention or bury your head in the sand, we're all complicit. Now, a lot of people don't realise what we do here at Council. Firstly, we need to meet our four well-being.
The four well-beings are social, economic, cultural, and environmental well-being.
Yeah. And then we also need to deliver core council services, such as
water supply, roadways and cycleways, urban planning, libraries, public transport, waste removal, citizens' rights bureau, parks, events, monitoring, health and homeless community centres, water areas, schools.
Far out, that's a lot. That is amazing. Well done, team. And we also need to meet our targets to mitigate climate change. So everything we do needs to be seen through a climate change lens. And we have less than 1 hour to get it all right. Okay, so you have your standing orders in front of you. These are the rules of engagement, if you like. So it's okay to have a drink at the bar, but please don't be disorderly within the meeting. If you would like to speak, please raise your hand, and Liza Interim Chair will call upon you to speak. Now, I'm going to try and hear as many voices in the room as possible. So you may only get a chance to speak once, and maybe not for very long. Now, if things get a little out of hand, I'm going to clap like this. But don't worry, you will get a chance to vote. Yes, Liz.
And propose amendments.
Yes, and propose amendments. That's excellent. Okay. So at the meeting, you'll hear some deputations from experts.
That's true, like they're real experts.
And so a deputation is it's a presentation. Then you'll hear from some members of the community in our public forum. We will have a debate, make some policy amendments, and then we vote. Excellent. But don't worry, we'll help you get through this. I know this is your first council meeting. Whatever happens, a decision needs to be made today, within the hour.
And after the hour's up, we'll be taking what we hear from you guys and your submissions to a real Auckland Council meeting, like a real one.
All right, I think we're ready to begin the workshop. Liz, is Sue ready? Is she in the audience?
Yes, I think we're still on Zoom. Yes,
On
yes,
Zoom.
yes.
On Zoom. This is how we do things. Okay.
Hi there. Hi everyone. I'm Sue, and I'm a strategist at Auckland Council. Hi. First of all, congratulations on making it through elections and coming on the board. We're so excited to have you with us. So today I'm going to talk through the National Policy Statement. If you have any questions, do ask. So the National Policy Statement on Urban Development was announced by the government in mid-2020.
That's true.
All councils must obey it and change their plans accordingly. It aligns with the Urban Growth Agenda, which encourages and anticipates both economic and population growth. So there are 5 main aspects to this policy. Number 1, councils must enable the market to provide homes that are needed. They must find out what these needs are. 2, they must enable buildings up to 6 stories in town centres and walking distance to city centres and rapid transport hubs. Now, buildings in city centres can be as tall as they like. Number 3, councils must enable growth on the edge of cities, and this means providing utilities and infrastructure to greenfield sites. Number 4, councils can no longer insist that developments have car parks. And finally, number 5, the intention is to create a well-functioning urban form. So at a minimum, that means diversity of buildings at different prices. Heritage and other qualities cannot prevent development in an area. So that some people have a taste for a certain style of housing shouldn't prevent other landowners from being bold and doing things differently. Right, so the plan is to make it easier for developers to build. We need more homes.
We need more affordable homes.
We need more homes. We are anticipating growth. There is some overlap with the Auckland Unitary Plan.
Does everybody know what the Auckland Unity Plan is? So this is the plan that tells us where we can build, how we can build, and how high we can build. And council needs to pay for infrastructure and amenities like water to community centres. We need to have a thriving city, so everything that makes a city livable. So then we come to the question of what actually defines a well-functioning urban. And this is where we need to come. Are there any questions?
Yeah. Yes.
Did we lose so?
I think we did, but we can have a go at answering your question.
Okay, thanks, Liz. Yes.
Hello. I'm wondering if we can challenge the national policy statement because I'm concerned about needing to provide amenities, etc. for greenfields. I'm concerned about the greenfields of Pukekohe and the fact that we might not have enough celery and potatoes if we pay it all over with buildings.
I'm going to direct it to Liz.
This is really wonderful, and I think this hits on what we're trying to achieve here during this meeting is looking at the national policy statement and figuring out what amendments we can make so that we can make this policy statement work for us. So I think this is such a good point. Is there anything to add?
No, I'm so relieved that you answered that. Any other questions? Take it from this side of the room.
I think something that's been playing on my mind at least is about this walking distance. You know, what does that mean? Surely walking distance is different for different people, ages, abilities.
Yeah. Okay, so let's think about this. If you were living in an apartment in town, you went shopping, you've got your grocery bags, you've stepped off the bus, how long a time would you like to walk home? So is it like 5 minutes? Does that sound reasonable? 5 minutes? Does anybody else think otherwise? 15 maximum. Yeah, load it up with groceries. 15, 5, sorry?
10.
10?
In the middle.
It's nice in the middle. Anybody else?
Is this a week's groceries or a day?
Yeah, that's a really good point. How about saying 3.5 days worth of groceries? Somewhere in the middle? I think maybe we'll select 10 as a good gauge. Joe, would you come over here, please? Sorry, can I just take this out? Okay, let's do a little. This is a little step because Auckland's quite hilly. So Joe, it's actually quite a good thing that I went to Hackensack for work and didn't get a chance to bring this home because now I've got some shopping bags for you. You can have one in each hand. Let's just run this. Run this out. Let's see if we can get you standing up and down the stair because Auckland's quite hilly with your grocery bags in your hand. We'll just put you on a timer for 10 minutes.
Did you say 10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Yeah.
If we had 5, then we had 15, then we had 10. This is kind of in the middle.
Should we try? I didn't stretch.
I feel good.
Yeah.
How old are you, Joe?
104.
Okay. Yeah, I think I actually kind of think that 10 minutes in my own head, I wouldn't want to look more than 5. But we'll just see how Joe goes for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Okay. All right. And yes, absolutely, age is a factor. So,
Is it dark?
is it dark?
Is it raining?
Right now it is dark, but it is not raining as yet. Yeah. And all of those things are factors. So they're really good points. Yes.
recent
If you
Achilles
can't,
injury.
step up, just
I'm sorry, I'm finding it hard to say. What if she was in a wheelchair? Yeah, very, very tricky. Yep.
What if she had a cramp because she's well?
And yeah,
Oh, God,
yeah.
yeah.
And I'm working at wheelchairs and prams, we could actually loop things on the back. And sorry, yes.
What if she had an Achilles injury?
Yeah, yes, I feel your pain. Yes. Yeah, you feel insane.
Helen, come on, I think I want to injure my Achilles.
Thank you, yes.
I feel like a lot of those questions speak to like the sorts of services that council needs to be providing as well, and also how the teams of those services are to individual needs rather than just setting a broad policy that's meant to fit everyone.